Are you waiting for the right time to quit your job? Have you got your side hustle, you're working a part-time job and want to quit? Or maybe you're in full-time employment and you've got a business idea or a side hustle or a project or whatever it is going on the side. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you the 3 factors and the 3 things that I needed to feel confident and comfortable before I quit my part-time job and became a full-time entrepreneur. Now, before I became a full-time entrepreneur, I was working part-time in a retail store. As I was growing my business, I was able to cut down my hours in the retail store as the business gradually began to grow. I started off working 4 times a week for this retail company, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1, and then eventually none. But there was a process to this, and I needed to feel confident and comfortable before I actually quit my job and decided to go it alone and become my own boss on a full-time, permanent basis. So the first thing I needed was a financial buffer. Now, everyone's financial buffer will be different depending on their circumstances. So I feel like I needed a 6-month grace period to feel comfortable when going into being an entrepreneur full-time and when going into developing my business full-time. So what I mean by this is having a 6-month period where I would be able to cover all of my costs if everything went wrong. Having known what I know now, I probably would have reduced that down to 3 months. But at the time, 6 months is what I needed to help me feel comfortable, to help me quit my part-time job and go into full-time self-employment. So my financial buffer at that time was about £4,000. For 6 months, if I didn't earn any money, I would be able to pay my rent, I would be able to pay my bills, I would be able to pay my living and food costs. If I stripped everything down and I didn't go and do many social events or things like that, I would be able to survive for 6 months without any additional income. And that was a buffer that I needed to help me feel comfortable. But depending on your circumstances, this may be more, this may be less. If you're someone who's fortunate enough not to have to pay rent, then you may need a lot less money. If you're someone who's fortunate enough to have a lot of their costs or all of their costs covered, then again, you're not going to need as much of a financial buffer. But equally, if you're someone who has people that rely on you, if you have responsibilities, if you have financial responsibilities, then your financial buffer might be a little bit longer. The second thing I needed to help me quit was consistent income. I needed my business to be making consistent income so that I was confident that this business was actually going to work and survive for the long run. Now, I had been running my business for about 1.5 years alongside my part-time job, and this gave me the confidence to know that I was earning a consistent income. I had managed to earn a consistent income for about 1.5 years, so it gave me confidence that I would still be able to earn an income going forward without an employer and being my own boss. Having known what I know now, I probably would have quit sooner, because as soon as I quit, I had more time to focus on my business, bring in more clients and earn an income from it. But it also gave me extra motivation. Now, I'm someone who's pretty motivated anyway, but when I quit, it gave me that extra motivation to make this business work, to make it a success, to give me that extra push that this is it. You've got to make it work now, because you're on your own. The third thing I needed was a vision. How was I going to make this business a success? Did I have a clear vision of my goals, of where I wanted to take the business? Did I have a clear vision of how I was going to get there? And did I have a clear vision of making consistent and regular income? And I needed this to help me realize that it was time to move on and quit my job. Having a clear vision gave me that extra confidence that I knew what I was doing, that I was able to make consistent income, and that I was making the right decision. If I didn't have a plan and structure of where I was going, it would have been really hard to have that confidence to quit my part-time job. Now, quitting your job is scary. Becoming full-time self-employed, relying on yourself for an income, is scary. Change is scary. The fact that this is scary will not change. But when we do things that scare us, it puts us in our uncomfort zone. It pushes us to excel, and it pushes us to better things. So I know this may be scary times thinking about potentially quitting your job, but do your due diligence. Work out the calculations that you need to decide whether this is a good decision or the right time for you. But the thing you need to remember is that change is scary. Regardless of when you decide to quit your job or not, it will be scary. The fact that it's scary will not change. Now, if you want more business tips and self-improvement tips, consider subscribing. And while you're at it, check out this video here. Check that out. Peace and love.